Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. As you've heard by now, it looks like there is an agreement in place that would end the government shutdown, but not by Wednesday at the earliest, if we're lucky. Because guess who is at the forefront of gumming up this whole deal? Senator Rand Paul, the Libertarian, whose good ideas are really good and bad ideas are really bad. Very typical of a Libertarian. So why is Rand Paul the only no vote on this from Republicans? Why is he going to push this further out through a bunch of maneuvers that are technical and way too in-depth to go into here, but could push this out till Monday if he gets his way? All because he's angered that in the agriculture version of the 3 spending bills plus the CR, there is a provision that bans the unregulated sale of intoxicating hemp. Yes, hemp. Now, Kentucky is a big supplier of hemp. This is intoxicating hemp, though. This is stuff you can eat, smoke, I don't know, whatever. He wants that provision out, and this could sink the whole thing. Now, look, it may be important to him, but hemp is not the issue here, Senator Paul. People getting home for Thanksgiving is. Here's Speaker Johnson on Rand Paul.
Update. I'm just down the hall from the Senate chamber. Rand Paul, maybe a couple others are gumming up the works, so to speak. They're holding this up a bit because they have a couple of little parochial priorities that they want to use as leverage to get the final vote. But we're hoping that they will fast track this.
So these procedural votes that they want, if they do this to literally throw a monkey wrench in the whole wheel of this system, we may not get a vote till Monday. And that would be disastrous. Now, I don't predict that will happen. I think there'll be too much pressure on Rand Paul, and I think they will fast track it. Speaker Johnson also seems optimistic about this.
Drag this out into the weekend, but that would just exact a whole other level of pain on the American people when they can least afford it. So we're praying that they get about the business, fast track this thing. I have already put the House on notice that all members are to be headed back to the Hill right now. I would like for us to be voting on this as early as Wednesday.
Well, let's hope so, because the quicker we get this done, the quicker the whole country is better. Now, President Trump issued a very stern warning to air traffic controllers. He said, you get your butts back in to work. And he said, anybody that left, if you don't return to work, you may be fired. And he said the people that stayed, the great patriots that did, they could get a $10,000 bonus. See, President Trump's a businessman. He knows how to run a business, even if this is the United States government. It doesn't act like a business at all. But the air traffic controllers put on notice by President Trump, get back to work. Now, as for the Democrats, they totally miscalculated here on their very stubborn, hypocritical shutdown of this government. Now, this is how dumb they all are, because many of them don't even get the PR nightmare they created for their own party. People like Bernie Sanders.
Tonight, 8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote. What it does, first of all, is it raises health care premiums for over 20 million Americans.
It doesn't do any such thing. Everything stays the same through January 30th, where they can work out some of these deals. Now, there was a deal related to Veterans Affairs. There was a deal related to agriculture, those spending bills, and the executive branch. But Bernie Sanders again wants to make this about Obamacare, which was exposed really by the Democrats. And all the arguments that came up as such a wasteful endeavor. President Trump saying, you know what, let's throw it out, Obamacare, and give everybody the subsidies directly to them. Let they figure out what they want to do with their money when paying for insurance. That's actually how free markets work. It would be a better solution to me.